On the morning of Luo Feng's release from the prison, in an antique tea house in the Jian region, there was only Zhou Hua Yang and Zhang Haobai in a private room. The teacups in front of them were steaming hot and fragrant. "Brother Zhou, why did you call me here so early in the morning?" Zhang Haobai lowered his voice and asked softly, "Is it the result of that matter? If it's really done, Brother Zhou, don't worry. Money is definitely not a problem." Zhang Haobai was a bit excited to see if Luo Feng really had one of his legs and one of his arms broken. Zhou Hua Yang sat there. His face slowly sank and he didn't say a word. "Brother Zhou?" Zhang Haobai felt that the atmosphere wasn't right and said quietly, "Brother Zhou, you say something." "Zhang Haobai, you sure are cruel. You drag me down with you even if you want to die." Zhou Hua Yang laughed coldly as he looked at Zhang Haobai. What happened to me?" Zhang Haobai was confused and hurriedly said, "Brother Zhou, just what happened? Tell me clearly." Zhang Haobai felt that something was wrong from Zhou Hua Yang's tone and expression. However, Zhang Haobai really didn't know what happened. Zhou Hua Yang took in a deep breath and said quietly, "Zhang Haobai, you want me to ask someone to break one of Luo Feng's arms and leg, right?" "Yes, why?" Zhang Haobai nodded. Why?" Zhou Hua Yang's voice was cold as he sneered, "The Luo Feng you want to deal with is a prospective fighter." "Prospective fighter?" Zhang Haobai was stunned. Silence. The private room was silent. Zhang Haobai's face was pale and he sat there dumbly without moving. Beads of sweat continuously seeped out of his forehead. Zhou Hua Yang laughed coldly as he sat on the side. He held his teacup and drank mouthful after mouthful of tea without saying anything. How could it be like this? How could it be like this? Zhang Haobai no longer had any jealousy, only fear. His family is rich, so he was clear about the privileges a prospective fighter has. He actually sent someone to break a prospective fighter's arm and leg. A prospective fighter can just ask Jiangnan City's security bureau to come and arrest him. Once he enters the security bureau, his life will be over. No. Zhang Haobai's face was pale. "Are you stupid now that you know fear?" Zhou Huayang angrily smashed the cup on the table and shouted, "Damn you idiot, if you really want to die, don't drag me with you. You want me to arrange for someone to break a leg and an arm of a prospective martial artist? Once he reports this to the security bureau, I'll be in big trouble." Zhou Huayang gnashed his teeth in anger. "Brother Zhou, what should I do? What should I do?" Zhang Haobai said, I don't want to be caught by the security bureau. Tell me, what should I do now?" Security bureau. To ordinary citizens, it was a mysterious and terrifying place. If the security bureau could be mobilized to arrest someone, then his life would be over. "By the way, Brother Zhou, did you sell me out?" Zhang Haobai's eyes lit up as he spoke. Only Zhou Huayang knew that he asked Zhou Huayang to do this. If Zhou Huayang didn't sell him out, then there was still room for negotiation. "What are you thinking about, you son of a bitch?" Zhou Huayang angrily stood up and pointed angrily at Zhang Haobai. "The government's already here to interrogate me and I still dare to not speak? If I don't speak, I'll die for you." Zhang Haobai froze. Indeed, if Zhou Huayang didn't sell him out, then Zhou Huayang himself would be in big trouble. "I only came to tell you because we've been friends for so many years. Just in case you get caught by the security bureau without even knowing what's going on." Zhou Huayang sneered, "I advise you to go back and discuss this with your dad. Your dad has more connections than you. He'll definitely do things better than you. Brother? Your brother Zhou can't keep you company anymore, I'll be leaving first. I've already paid the bill for this table, you don't need to pay." As he finished, Zhou Huayang opened the door and walked out. Only Zhang Haobai was left in the room. How could this be? Zhang Haobai sat on the chair and shook his head. He still couldn't believe it. How could he be a prospective martial artist? Before the high school exams, his fist strength was only 800 kilograms. How many days has it been? How could he become a prospective martial artist? No, I don't want to get caught by the security bureau. Dad. I'll go find Dad. Zhang Haobai's face was pale as he quickly rushed out of the tea house and went home as fast as he could. At home, Zhang Haobai sat on the sofa in the living room with his fists tightly clenched and his body slightly trembling. The door opened. "Haobai, why did you call me so urgently? You even said that if I come back late, you'll die?" Zhang Zilong, who had rushed back from the company, pushed open the door and walked in. Seeing his son's face, his heart skipped a beat. He thought to himself, "Not good, Haobai, this kid probably caused a huge disaster." "Dad, I caused trouble?" Zhang Haobai lifted his head and looked at his father. It was just a few simple words, "I'm in trouble." Zhang Zilong's heart went cold. "Tell me what exactly happened. Tell me everything in detail, don't leave anything out. Tell me everything clearly." Zhang Zilong's expression became serious. Even though he knew the situation was troublesome, Zhang Zilong didn't panic. After all, he survived the Grand Nirvana period. What hasn't he seen before? Zhang Haobai took a deep breath. "It's like this, last time at my house, a decorating company sent furniture." From start to finish, Zhang Haobai didn't dare hide anything and told him everything. You actually dared to find people to cripple a prospective fighter?" Zhang Zilong stared. I didn't know." Zhang Haobai panicked after being stared at by his father. "If I knew, I wouldn't have done it even if you beat me to death." Zhang Zilong took a deep breath. He didn't say anything and took out his phone to make a call. D. A sound rang from Zhang Zilong's phone. Zhang Zilong couldn't help but frown. "What is it, Dad?" Zhang Haobai asked. I'm calling your uncle, but your uncle is currently hunting monsters outside of the headquarters city. Zhang Zilong sat on the sofa, wait for your uncle to call back. Outside of the headquarters city, there might be a monster hiding somewhere. That's why they usually look for a safe place to communicate with people in the city. After a while. Big brother, what is it? A low voice rang, I'm a bit busy right now. Ahu, this isn't a small matter. Your nephew is in big trouble. As Zhang Zilong said this, his eyes turned red. What trouble did Hao Bai get into, big brother, tell me? I'm listening. Zhang Zilong's little brother, Zhang Zai, whose voice rang. It's like this. Zhang Zilong immediately repeated what his son just said. The phone went silent for a bit, then Zhang Zai, whose voice rang. Hao Bai, this kid dares to cause trouble for a prospective fighter. He's too daring. How about this, from today on, Hao Bai, stay at home every day and don't go out and cause trouble. And don't go see that Luo Feng again. Understood, Uncle Zhang. Hao Bai seemed to be holding on to his last straw as he nodded. Okay, you guys don't need to do anything, the voice on the phone continued. Wait for me to come back. Even if the security bureau comes and captures you, don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. Just wait for me to come back. My mission this time is quite important, so I'll probably be back in 1 or 2 months. Okay, Zhang. Hao Bai nodded. Don't worry, Hao Bai. You're my big brother's only son, so I'll protect you no matter what, the voice on the phone continued. Big brother, the captain is calling me, so I'll say no more. Remember, don't do anything else and wait for me to come back. After hanging up, Zhang Zilong and Zhang Hao Bai let out a sigh of relief. The Zhang family was worried, but Luo Feng's family was very happy. After dinner, Luo Feng brought his little brother Luo Hua from upstairs to the sector. Luo Feng pushed his wheelchair and took a stroll in the sector. Bro, we've lived in this sector for over 10 years. Mom and Dad have lived here for over 20 years. Luo Hua raised his head and looked at the sector. The residential buildings in the sector were very dense and there was very little greenery. In the future we'll leave this place and live in that Mingyue sector. I'll go out for a walk every day, so I'll be fine by myself. Going up and down the stairs every day was extremely difficult for the wheelchair-bound Luo Hua. Okay. Luo Feng smiled and nodded as he pushed his wheelchair. Hua, in the future we won't have to be in the sun all year round, and we won't have to stay in that small room all year round. Mom and Dad won't have to sleep on the sofa anymore. Luo Hua nodded. This day. They've been looking forward to it for a long time. Someone's coming. Luo Hua raised his head and looked forward. A young man wearing glasses smiled as he walked over. He first smiled towards Luo Hua in the wheelchair and then looked towards Luo Feng. Brother Luo, right? You are. Luo Feng looked suspiciously at this person. This young man slightly smiled. Brother Luo, hello, my name is Zhou Hua Yang. I wonder if Brother Luo has time to find a place to chat? Zhou Hua Yang. Luo Feng's heart jumped. So it's him. The officer in the jail said that Zhang Hao Bai asked Zhou Hua Yang for help and arranged for people to deal with him. You are Zhou Hua Yang? Luo Feng let out a smile. Zhou Hua Yang felt a knot in his heart. Under Luo Feng's gaze he couldn't help but to panic. If Luo Feng really wanted to deal with him, he would be in big trouble. Zhou Hua Yang maintained his smiling face. That's right. Brother Luo, shall we find a place to talk? All right. Luo Feng nodded. I have something to discuss with you too. On a street not far from the southern shore sector, there's a Yangzhou bathhouse. This bathhouse is a relatively expensive place. Even a small suite costs at least $1,000. Even though Luo Feng has heard of this place, he's never been inside. This time he came with his brother and Zhou Hua Yang. Yangzhou bathhouse was a place that integrated bathing, foot soaking, leisure and entertainment. Okay, you can leave. I'll call you if there's anything else. Zhou Hua Yang instructed in one of the suites of the Yangzhou bathhouse. Yes, sir. The waiter left the suite. There were a total of 3 rooms in the suite, one of which was a bathroom for bathing. The second room was a lounge for tea and business meetings. The third room was an entertainment room for surfing the internet, watching TV and singing. Hua, just play around in this room. I have something to discuss with this Zhou Hua Yang, laughed Luo Feng. Go, brother. Luo Hua pulled the wheel and the wheelchair went directly to the computer. Luo Hua was a little excited. TSK, a 46-inch ultra-thin screen voice-activated system, awesome. Luo Feng couldn't help but sigh in his heart. His family's laptop was of the lowest level, and the operating system was manual. A few $100s for one was extremely cheap. Nowadays almost all of the luxurious notebooks were voice-activated, and there were even legendary top-notch ones that had a 3D holographic projection. Of course, equipment that could perform 3D virtual projection was extremely expensive. It was a legendary piece of equipment. Even an average rich family would have to spend all their fortune to afford one. Luo Hua was in front of the computer, excitedly trying to use the voice-activated system. Luo Feng and Zhou Hua Yang entered the resting room. After closing the door, Luo Feng and Zhou Hua Yang sat facing each other in the resting room. Brother Luo, have some tea. Zhou Hua Yang picked up the teapot and poured a cup of tea for Luo Feng. At the same time he said with a face of shame, Brother Luo, I came here to apologize to you. This time's matter. Alas, speaking of which, I'm really embarrassed and ashamed. Luo Feng held his teacup and quietly listened on the side. Zhou Hua Yang. There were many such people in society, and they were the kind of people who had a lot of connections. What they were doing was accepting money from others and doing things for them. For example, Zhou Hua Yang, he was also paid to do things, so he didn't have any grudges with Luo Feng. Luo Feng didn't have much resentment towards Zhou Hua Yang. Luo Feng truly hated Zhang Haobai. Even if that Zhang Haobai doesn't find Zhou Hua Yang to deal with me, he'll find someone else, thought Luo Feng. This Zhou Hua Yang is just a middleman. But, since he came looking for me, I might as well settle this privately with him. Zhou Hua Yang saw that Luo Feng was silent, so he continued, this time I arranged for people to deal with you. I didn't know about your situation at all. Zhang Haobai was the one who told me, which is why I did such a stupid thing. I hope that brother Luo can be magnanimous and forgive me. Forgive you? Luo Feng grinned. This is a small gift from me, I hope brother Luo can accept it. Zhou Hua Yang took out an envelope from his pocket and pushed it in front of Luo Feng. This is a check from the China Merchant Bank. The recipient is you, brother Luo. Only you can withdraw this money. You can withdraw this money from any branch of the China Merchant Bank. Luo Feng glanced at it and opened the envelope. Indeed, there was a check inside. The payment deadline was 10 days and it was limited to Luo Feng. Luo Feng's ID number was also written on it. Of course, the most eye-catching thing was the words. 1 million yuan. 1 million. Luo Feng was slightly shocked. This was quite a large amount. Luo Feng's family hasn't even saved over 100,000 yuan in all these years. The value of Chinese dollars nowadays is quite high. Even for the CEOs of companies, 1 million Chinese dollars is a large amount of money. I hope brother Luo can forgive me and let this go, said Zhou Hua Yang sincerely. 1 million. Luo Feng's family has never had this much money before. It would be a waste not to have this kind of money. I know you're the middleman, so I won't make it hard for you. Alright, I'll accept this money, Luo Feng nodded. Zhou Hua Yang let out a sigh of relief. However, it's quite troublesome to withdraw this check. How about this, transfer the money to my account through the internet, said Luo Feng. Alright, Zhou Hua Yang was very straightforward. Luo Feng nodded and took out a pen from the table. He wrote down his bank account number and bank on a piece of paper. This is my bank account number. The address of the bank is here, and I'm the one who opened the account. Okay. Zhou Hua Yang put away the envelope and check. At the same time, he took out his cell phone and used it to quickly enter the bank system. In just a moment, the transfer was successful. Luo Feng felt the cell phone in his pocket vibrate. He took it out and saw a message. It was a notification from the bank that told him that his balance increased by 1 million. Has it been transferred? Laughed Zhou Hua Yang. Yup, nodded Luo Feng. Zhou Hua Yang laughed. Brother Luo sure is straightforward. In this Yangzhou city, if you have any problems that you can't solve, just come find me. As long as I can do it, I'll definitely help. Of course, you'll soon become a fighter. However, it's easier to deal with ghosts than the king of hell. If you encounter any problems, it'll be easier for us to solve them. Alright, I'll naturally ask for your help. Luo Feng stood up. Zhou Hua Yang also stood up and the two shook hands. Then I'll be leaving first, laughed Zhou Hua Yang. I've already paid for this room. Brother Luo, you guys can play until tomorrow morning, said Zhou Hua Yang to Luo Feng's brother, Luo Hua, and then left the room. Only Luo Feng and Luo Hua were left in the room. In the room's entertainment room. Brother, why did this person find you? Laughed Luo Hua. I feel like he's quite polite. He's here to give us money, laughed Luo Feng. Give us money? Luo Hua was shocked. Luo Feng didn't tell his parents or his brother about what happened in the jail. He didn't want them to worry about him. From Luo Feng's perspective. Since he's on the path of a fighter, then this path will be filled with difficulties and dangers. It's best not to tell his parents about these dangers and difficulties. Oh yeah, Hua, laughed Luo Feng. How's your stock trading going? Because his brother Hua is always at home, he's always been interested in finance, especially the stock industry. Even though his brother isn't that old, he's been trading for 3 years already. I didn't make any money in the first year, but I've been making quite a bit these past 2 years. I've made around 20,000, said Luo Hua. That much? Luo Feng was shocked. 20,000 isn't enough to shock Luo Feng. What shocked Luo Feng was his brother's efficiency at making money. He actually made it twice. That's a terrifying efficiency. It's alright, laughed Luo Hua. Actually, when it comes to stocks, one is playing with psychology and the other is playing with math. As long as you control your positions well, you can control the buying price through successive purchases. It was easy to follow the bankers behind the scenes. But sometimes, when the stock market was volatile, one's mentality would be affected. If I don't make any money in the first year, I'll often get scared and throw them away early. Luo Feng was confused as he listened. It's nothing much for me to earn money. If a powerful expert operates the futures market, I can double my earnings from the stock market, and they can earn 10 or 20 times more. Of course, futures trading is even more dangerous. If you're not careful, you'll be forced to liquidate your position. That will be the end of everything. Luo Hua shook his head. Even though Luo Feng didn't understand these things. But he knew one thing. Stocks made money by compound interest. For example, her brother took 3 years to raise his income from a few thousand to 20,000. But if he had 1 million yuan in capital, he might have 4 million yuan in assets now. With a capital of 4 million, he would have 16 million in assets. Money made money, and the further it went, the more exaggerated it became. Hua, I'll give you 500,000 when we get back. Luo Feng smiled. Work hard. 500,000? Luo Hua's eyes lit up with excitement. Today's stock market plunged. It's the perfect time to search for a bottom. We can make a huge profit. After sleeping in the same room with his brother for so many years, Luo Feng realized long ago that his brother always hoped for the stock market to crash. His neighbor, Uncle Wang, always hoped that the stock market would rise. His younger brother made money in the stock market, while Uncle Wang lost money in the stock market. Experts hope for the stock market to fall? Luo Feng thought to himself. Oh yeah brother, where did you get the money from? Luo Hua asked. It's that Zhou Hua Yang from before. Luo Feng smiled. Brother, go use this money. When I become a fighter I'll make a lot more money. Regular fighters aren't that good at making money but... Luo Feng was very clear about his own strength. Just his telekinesis alone is scarier than a heavy machine gun. After all, bullets fly in a straight line, and Luo Feng can instantly change direction with his spikes. August 1st Fighter Combat Exam. After passing, I'll start my career as a fighter. Luo Feng's right hand that was holding the teacup slightly tightened. The teacup immediately shattered and the tea spilled all over the floor. Luo Hua, who was on the side, was shocked. Brother, what's wrong? Nothing. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. However, he was thinking to himself, when I was in jail, I trained my genetic energy and my strength increased by a huge amount. After my ability awakened, my strength increased even more. Right now, my strength and speed are much higher than before. However, increasing my strength too quickly isn't a good thing. My control over my strength isn't precise enough. In his excitement, he actually crushed the teacup. Clearly, he didn't have enough control over his strength. Yeah, tomorrow morning I'll go to the Dojo of Limits. From today to August 1st, I'll seriously train for the next 20 days. I need to properly hone my current speed, strength and so on. This will allow me to unleash my full potential. Luo Feng thought to himself. At 5 a.m. the next day, Luo Feng headed towards the Dojo of Limits when the sky started to brighten. He hasn't received his prospective fighter certificate yet, so Luo Feng still used his elite student certificate to enter the Dojo of Limits. Senior morning? Inside the Dojo of Limits, there were quite a few students doing their morning exercises on the grass road. Luo Feng smiled as he nodded, and then ran towards the third floor of the elite student building. He hasn't received his prospective fighter certificate yet, so he can only enter the elite student training hall. He doesn't have the right to enter the instructor's area on the fourth floor. Ha ha. He could only hear the sound of people exhaling and yelling from the training hall. Luo Feng looked inside and saw a youth in a white robe wielding a metal spear. He was continuously swinging the great spear in his hand. Brother Iron, Luo Feng laughed as he yelled, training so early in the morning? That's rare. Crazy. The youth in a white robe stopped and looked at Luo Feng with a face full of surprise. Why are you here? Oh yeah, I have to congratulate you, Crazy, for passing the prospective fighter exam. How did you know? Luo Feng was surprised. There should be very few people who knew that he had passed the prospective warrior assessment. Last night, when the instructor was teaching us, he told us about this. He said that among the elite students in our dojo, you and Brother Yang both passed the prospective fighter exam. The youth in a white robe rubbed his head helplessly. Seeing that you two passed, I didn't dare to relax, so I came here early in the morning to train. Luo Feng nodded. So this was what the instructor was talking about. Even though the Dojo of Limits has around 30,000 students, there are only 6 instructors. And there's only one instructor. When instructors teach, they usually do it in a gigantic hall, where thousands of students can listen at the same time. Of course, there's no need to teach the elite students, since there are only so many elite students in the dojo. Crazy, you already passed the exam, so why are you here so early in the morning? Laughed the youth in a white robe. August 1st, Fighter Combat Exam. I need to prepare, laughed Luo Feng as he walked towards the weapon room next to the training hall. The door to the weapon room wasn't closed. After entering the weapon room, there were large amounts of weapons placed on the weapon cabinet. Knives, spears, rods, axes, hammers, swords, spears, etc. Furthermore, there were many types of weapons in each category. For example, among sabers there were one-handed sabers and two-handed sabers. There were also many types of one-handed sabers. Blood Shadow Series. Luo Feng opened one of the weapon cabinets. Inside were large amounts of blades of the same design. Of course, these blades were all replicas. The model, center of gravity, and weight were exactly the same as the real thing. However, there was a huge difference in the material. A real saber that could kill monsters might cost hundreds of thousands, but this imitation saber would only cost a few hundred, which was much cheaper. Shio. Luo Feng pulled out one of them. This was a Blood Shadow 2 series blade. The blade was 78 centimeters long, the entire blade was 101 centimeters long, and the blade was 5.2 centimeters wide. The back of the blade was a bit thick and the tip of the blade was sharp. Luo Feng casually waved it twice and frowned. I've been using this ghost blade for a long time. But, it feels so light. In the past he was used to swinging his saber, but now he felt as light as a feather. As my strength increases, the weight of the saber I need to use has to increase as well. Only then will it feel more comfortable. Luo Feng took out another Blood Shadow 2 series blade and waved it twice, creating a sharp whistling sound. No, it's still too light. This one isn't enough either. Too light, too light. Luo Feng took out the heaviest Blood Shadow 2 series blade replica and couldn't help but to shake his head as he laughed. Looks like my strength has increased by too much. I can't find a suitable blade in this elite student's weapon room at all. Luo Feng could only choose to leave the third floor and head towards the fourth floor. The fourth floor is where the instructors often go. Luo Feng knew that the fourth floor also had a training hall and weapon room. Prospective fighters have the right to enter the fourth floor. However, my prospective fighter certificate hasn't been issued yet, so I don't know if I can enter the fourth floor. There was a small room next to the staircase of the 4th floor. An old man was on duty there. Ichim? What are you doing? Students aren't allowed in here. The old man on duty stood up. Suddenly he let out a surprised expression and laughed. So it's Luo Feng. I heard from Director Jiang that you passed the prospective fighter exam. Haha, come in. Thank you, Uncle Li. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. If this Uncle Li was really serious and forced Luo Feng to take out his prospective fighter certificate, then Luo Feng wouldn't be able to enter. After all, legally speaking, Luo Feng isn't a prospective fighter yet. The training hall on the 4th floor was clearly decorated much better. The equipment were also of a higher quality. At this time, Luo Feng was the only one in the training hall on the 4th floor. What a waste, what a waste. What a waste. Luo Feng couldn't help but to shake his head and sigh. This dojo only has a total of 6 instructors. Other than teaching, the 6 instructors spend most of their time training in the limit hall. Such a good place, yet it's just left empty. So few people come here. Luo Feng shook his head and entered the weapon room. Even though the weapons in this weapon room were also replicas, they looked much better than the weapons on the 3rd floor. Blood Shadow 2 series. The blades here sure are a lot heavier. Luo Feng took out one and swung it twice. Luo Feng took out a knife and swung it twice, then switched to another one. After 5 tries he finally chose one that suited him. He looked carefully at the label on it and saw that the weight of the knife was written on the blade. 101 kilograms. What, 101 kilograms? Luo Feng was shocked. Such a heavy blade, yet I feel comfortable wielding it? Keep in mind that the ghost blade is a blade that can be swung very quickly and is quite light. Even a blade like this only feels comfortable wielding it at 101 kilograms. Just what level has his strength reached? Looks like my body fitness level has increased quite a bit. I'll test my fist strength and speed later. Luo Feng was a bit excited. Right now, I'll first practice the basics. After choosing the blade, he also picked up a hexagonal shield. In the training hall, Luo Feng's left arm was inside the shield and his right hand was holding the ghost blade. Ha. Ha. Luo Feng stood in the same spot and performed the basic blade techniques moves perfectly. Horizontal slash, upward slash, hack combo slash. Every move was perfectly executed. Luo Feng's center of gravity wasn't affected by every slash as he continued to practice and modify his moves. I'm too strong right now. I can't control my strength well enough. Luo Feng knew his own problem. Even if my body fitness level is good, I still need to be able to use it. Luo Feng was clear. Just because your body fitness level is higher doesn't mean you're stronger. Some people can only use 30% of their body fitness level. And some people can use 50%, 60%, 70%, and even 100% of their body strength. There were some saber grandmasters who could even kill someone 10 times stronger than them with their weak strength. This is the importance of technique and experience. Of course, if the difference in body fitness level is too big, technique can't make up for it. In conclusion, no matter what, technique has to be practiced in order to bring out the full potential of your body. Head Li Balian, who was on duty on the 4th floor, respectfully yelled. Who's inside? Instructor Jiang Nian asked. He could clearly hear a series of sharp whistling sounds coming from the training hall next to him. These sharp whistling sounds were obviously the sound of swords and sabers slicing through the air at an astonishing speed. Just from the sound you could tell that it was definitely a fighter. It's Luo Feng, laughed Uncle Li. Luo Feng. Instructor Jiang Nian smiled and walked towards the training hall. Standing at the entrance of the training hall, Instructor Jiang Nian looked at Luo Feng, who was in the training hall, performing his basic blade techniques as if he was a textbook. Sometimes he would slash in place, sometimes he would run, dodge, retreat, etc. While moving he would continuously slash with his ghost blade. Ichim, your foundation is quite solid. Instructor Jiang Nian couldn't help but to nod and compliment to himself. With a good foundation your future training with the blade will be even better. No obvious weaknesses, not bad. The more he watched, the more satisfied he was. Instructor Luo Feng turned around and noticed Instructor Jiang Nian, so he stopped. Instructor Jiang Nian smiled as he walked in. Luo Feng, your blade technique is quite good. You started training when you were young, right? When I was young and didn't enter the dojo, I just played around at home, laughed Luo Feng. Instructor Jiang Nian nodded in satisfaction, but the smile on his face suddenly froze. He stared blankly at the ghost blade in Luo Feng's hand with his eyes wide open. Instructor? Luo Feng was shocked by Instructor Jiang Nian's expression. You. Instructor Jiang Nian stared at Luo Feng in shock. You were using a 101 kilograms ghost blade just now? Yeah, Luo Feng was a bit shocked. Instructor Jiang Nian shook his head. Impossible. How could this be? But right after, Instructor Jiang Nian's eyes lit up. He stared at Luo Feng as if he was looking at a treasure. Luo Feng, go over to the fist strength testing machine. Quick, throw a punch for me to see. Let me see just how much strength you've reached. When this Luo Feng took the prospective fighter exam, his fist strength was only around 1,100 kilograms. And in just a few short days, he could easily swing the 101 kilograms blood shadow saber, and the speed at which he swung it was astonishing. Doesn't that mean his strength has increased by a few times? Instructor Jiang Nian took in a deep breath. Ever since he became an instructor, Jiang Nian's dojo contribution points have been increasing extremely slowly. The fighters of the Dojo of Limits all value contribution points. The fastest way to increase contribution points is to hunt monsters. However, Jiang Nian hasn't hunted monsters in a long time. If I'm not wrong, this Luo Feng's genetic energy training speed is much faster than normal fighters, thought Jiang Nian to himself. Who knows, maybe he'll be qualified enough for headquarters to send someone over. If I can recommend Luo Feng, not only will I be able to earn some contribution points, I'll also gain face in front of the other instructors. Jiang Nian couldn't help but to be excited. Luo Feng, throw that punch with all your strength, yelled Jiang Nian. Yes, instructor. Luo Feng walked in front of the fist strength tester machine and took a deep breath as he thought to himself. Compared to my telekinesis ability, this fist, kick and blade technique is a level lower. Luo Feng didn't have any intentions of hiding his strength. He adjusted his breathing and then exerted all his strength. His back was like an arched dragon. His fist was like a missile hitting the tester, causing it to violently shake. How much? Jiang Nian immediately ran over and looked at the display. Luo Feng also looked at the display after throwing his fist. Even Luo Feng himself didn't know how much his fist strength had reached. A clear number appeared on the screen of the punching strength testing machine. 3,109 kilograms. 3,109 kilograms? Jiang Nian took in a deep breath and turned his head to look at Luo Feng like he was looking at a monster. Luo Feng looked at this number and was shocked in his heart. His fist strength actually increased by so much. During the prospective fighter exam, my strength was around 1,100 kilograms. This is the first time I started genetic energy training, so my strength increased the fastest. It should have increased to around 1,500 kilograms, 1,800 kilograms. After my ability awakened, my body evolved, and I suddenly reached 3,109 kilograms? Ever since that awakening, Luo Feng clearly felt that his body's strength increased by a lot, but he didn't have a clear number to show it. Luo Feng, you succeeded in your genetic energy training, right? Asked Jiang Nian. Yes, after the prospective fighter exam, I tried to train my genetic energy for the first time. I succeeded that night, nodded Luo Feng. Jiang Nian couldn't help but clench his fists and roar, haha, my Xian region's Dojo of Limits finally has a true genius. His first time cultivating genetic energy and his weight increased from 1,100 kilograms to 3,100 kilograms. This is the first time he improved so much. In the entire Jiangnan city, there are at most 1 or 2 geniuses like him in a year. From the time a human was born to the time they first cultivated genetic energy, there would be a period of more than 10 years in between. Their bodies had never absorbed genetic energy before. Because he had never absorbed it before, he had been starving for more than 10 to 20 years. Therefore, the first time he cultivated it, his progress was the most astonishing. From the second time onward, the improvement would be very small. It would take months and years of continuous cultivation to gradually improve. At the same time, the rate of improvement in one's first cultivation also represented a person's aptitude. Some people could increase their punching force by 300 kilograms during their first training, which was considered normal. Some people could increase their punching force by 600 kilograms, which was considered outstanding. Someone who had gained 1,000 kilograms of weight could be considered an elite. And Luo Feng increased it by 2,000 kg. This was a genius. Luo Feng, come test your speed. I'll test your reaction speed later. Jiang Nian felt as if he had discovered a treasure and was testing its abilities. Yes, instructor Luo Feng was a bit excited. Very soon the results of the assessment came out. Fist strength, 3,109 kilograms. Speed, 58 milliseconds. Nervous reaction test. Beginner warrior level, full marks. Intermediate warrior level, excellent. Haha, my Xian district also has a monster. Jiang Nian looked at the final result on the reaction speed tester and was so excited that his face was red. He randomly patted Luo Feng's shoulder and yelled, Luo Feng, you're the instructor. My dojo contribution points will depend on you in the future. Luo Feng just laughed. Luo Feng, your improvement in strength is incredible. My Dojo of Limits can let you join the dojo ahead of time. Jiang Nian said, you don't need to go through the fighter combat exam. I'll let you join first. Join the Dojo of Limits first? Luo Feng was a bit confused. Usually, only after you become a fighter can you officially join other forces. Luo Feng, when you come out of the Xian district's Dojo of Limits, I'll be your guide. Instructor Jiang Nian patted Luo Feng's shoulder and laughed. I won't hide it from you. Your first genetic energy training increased your fist strength by over 2,000 kilograms. Your speed and reaction speed also increased by a lot. I can say, your talent is at the genius level or the monster level. In the entire 200 million population of Jiangnan City, only 1 or 2 monster geniuses appear every year. Luo Feng laughed helplessly. Monster level? Others might not know, but he knew that his fist strength only increased by around 600 kilograms during his first genetic energy training. Only after he awakened his ability did his strength increase by a lot. To such a shocking number. However, Jiang Nian couldn't have thought of this. Since the biggest increase in strength for a normal fighter is the first genetic energy training. A monster genius like you will naturally be discovered by the Thunder Dojo and the families of the Underground Alliance after the fighter combat exam. At that time they will definitely invite you to join, Instructor Jiang Nian laughed. Instructor Jiang Nian smiled and said, when the time comes, you might be blinded by the generous conditions. Luo Feng realized, right? Out of the 200 million population of Jiangnan City, only 1 or 2 monsters appear every year, who wouldn't fight for them. So isn't it better for you to join now? Instructor Jiang Nian laughed. Of course, don't worry. The conditions that the Dojo of Limits will give you won't be low either. Normally, when a fighter joins the dojo, Other than a villa, they also get $1,000,000 Chinese. LuoFeng, don't be careless about money. The fighters battle armor, weapons, blade technique scrolls, and even some hot weapons. You can even hire a powerful fighter to teach you. All of these require money. LuoFeng nodded. To give a genius like you, other than a villa, we will also get 20 million. We will let you buy all sorts of weapons and equipment. At the same time, the Dojo of Limits will also give you a Dao Yin technique scroll, a blade technique scroll, and an agility technique scroll for free. As long as the price of these three is below 50 million, you'll get them for free. If it's over 50 million, you'll have to pay the extra. LuoFeng couldn't help but to hold his breath. My god. A normal fighter only has 1 million, and LuoFeng has close to 70 million. Since the Dao Yin technique scroll, blade technique scroll, and agility technique scroll are all very important to fighters. LuoFeng, the Dao Yin technique scroll, blade technique scroll, and agility technique scroll don't exceed 50 million. However, if you buy them from other places, you'll probably have to spend twice as much as buying them from the Dojo of Limits. Jiang Nian laughed. Fighters from the Dojo of Limits have a discount when buying some of the Dojo of Limits instruction manuals. Of course, you'll need the corresponding dojo contribution points to buy the instruction manuals. If you don't have the dojo contribution points, you won't be able to buy the instruction manuals even if you have the money. Of course, if you buy it for free, there's no requirement for the dojo contribution points. LuoFeng realized. Looks like the conditions that the Dojo of Limits gave him were quite generous. My Dojo of Limits has the same requirements for geniuses. Jiang Nian smiled. In the Dojo of Limits, when you go out to hunt monsters in the future, you'll be able to get help from your companions. Plus, the head of the Dojo of Limits, the world's strongest fighter Hong, will occasionally teach some true elites. LuoFeng has lived in this era for so many years, so he is very clear on how much influence the Dojo of Limits has. Joining the Dojo of Limits is definitely a good choice. Alright, instructor, I agree, nodded LuoFeng. Haha. Jiang Nian laughed. Of course, I don't have the qualifications to let you directly join the Dojo of Limits. Accepting a monster-level fighter like you requires the headquarters to personally review it. As he spoke, Jiang Nian took out a phone from his pocket and softly said, Headquarters. Immediately he dialed a number. A moment later, a figure appeared on the phone screen. Jiang Nian, what's the matter? The white-haired old man on the screen said with a faint smile. Uncle Bai. Jiang Nian said with a face full of excitement, I found a genius-level fighter in the Xian region. His first genetic energy training increased his fist strength by 2000 kg. His speed can reach 58 meters per second, which is the reaction speed test. Even the intermediate warrior exam is excellent. He's definitely a monster level, a genius level fighter. Oh. The white-haired old man was shocked and asked. His first time training increased his fist strength by 2000 kg? How old is he? The older you are, the less valuable you are to training. 18 years old, said Jiang Nian. What, only 18 years old? The white-haired old man suddenly stood up and roared. You punk, hurry up and bring him to the headquarters. I'll arrange for people to test this kid right now. Alright, I'll head to the headquarters immediately. Jiang Nian hung up the phone and smiled towards LuoFeng. LuoFeng, come with me to the headquarters now. Yes, instructor. Instructor, I'll put the ghost blade and the hexagonal shield into the armory. Just as LuoFeng opened his mouth, Jiang Nian grabbed LuoFeng. What armory, just leave it on the ground. Hurry, don't waste time. As he said that, Jiang Nian dragged LuoFeng towards the stairs. At the same time, Jiang Nian ordered, Old Li, I'm afraid I won't have time today. Cancel my class tonight. Yes, head, Uncle Li nodded. Right after he finished speaking, Jiang Nian and LuoFeng disappeared from his vision. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.